Joining us now, Banking Committee Chairman Senator Tim Scott. Probably happy. It's really happening. What is it? Is it soup? Is it done? Is it going to happen?
Good morning. We are really excited about the housing bill. We got it through the Senate one more time yesterday, 87-9. It looks like there's a fast path. The House has agreed to same principles that we have, which means the president should be able to sign the bill that makes 2026 a year of affordability, focusing on the average person in the country. In a country where the average first-time home buyer is 40 years old, Joe, that number is going to come down. The age will come down. Great news for the American people. I think this happens within the next 2 or 3 weeks. Really exciting times.
We don't see a lot of things like this. You call bipartisan, bicameral, just across the board. I'd like to say, God, that's great, but for some reason it just makes me uneasy if both sides are. Where were the disagreements, not only between the two parties, but also between the two chambers?
Believe it or not, one of the biggest disagreements, Joe, was on the central bank digital currency. Has nothing to do with housing, but was attached to the housing bill. And so trying to figure out a path forward to have a 5-year sunset was an issue that we had to fight for. The Freedom Caucus in the House, really important issue for them. So we wanted to make sure that we threaded the needle. Working with Maxine Waters, for me, not always a joy, frankly. Working to find common ground on some of the community bank bills. If you think about housing, without any question, it's not the GSIBs that are focused on mortgages. It's your community banks who focus their attention and their time on providing resources for first-time home buyers, making sure that we make it easier for community banks to have a step forward to lean into mortgages. Really important part of the equation, getting that done. Listen, we call them the four corners, work together to make sure we didn't think red or blue. We didn't think House or Senate. We really started thinking about single moms like the one that raised me, the waitress I spoke to last weekend in a restaurant. How can we make life more affordable for the average person? Somehow that broke through both chambers, both sides, and that makes 2026 a better year right now than it was just a few months ago.
I guess I could find criticism from both sides, which is usually usually what to expect. I think, private sector advocates, the Wall Street Journal, the op-ed pages, talk about this as a gift to Elizabeth, Senator Warren, and some of the other Democrats in certain ways. And I'm sure Democrats think that there's too many gifts to corporations or whatever. Did you thread the needle in terms of making it hard for these big institutional entities to buy up too much, but they provide a lot of the capital for refurbishments and for rent, for buildings that are rented out, maybe not ownership, but
yes.
You need to not have unintended consequences. This is the right.
Well, Joe, Joe, you make a really important point here, Joe. The large institutional investor piece, the president spoke about it in his State of the Union. No question, a lot of pushback, frankly, on both sides. Republicans are not really in favor of seeing anyone taken out of the market. But what we did, we studied the market. 3% of the closings are institutional investors. One of the pieces of the first iteration of the bill had a 7-year must sell. That really was not received well in the market. Frankly, they had an allergic reaction to it, and rightly so. We were able to see that removed out, give a lot of credit to French Hill and the House for working hard with the White House on that provision. That moved out. Other priorities moved in, and that made the large institutional investor palatable, the provision in the bill. But a lot of work was done around that, and frankly, we still need to spend more time watching how this impacts the market. Finally, we included in the bill, Joe, we gave the Treasury more tools so that if market movement goes south, they have the tools to correct it in that large institutional investor piece. Rent to own is a very important part of our market. We wanted to preserve that because, frankly, some communities are built literally just to rent houses. We don't want to stymie the production of houses. Long term, it's going to have a positive impact on the country from a housing affordability, and that's really good news.
Well, we have you here, Senator. We've everything happens quicker now. I guess it was the beginning of some people only want to call it a conflict. They don't want to call it a war. But whatever you want to call it, it began, 3 months ago. But it's already over. All along, what were you thinking, and where we are now? What are you thinking?
Well, I continue to go back to the average person struggling from paycheck to paycheck. The old saying is, I got too much month for my money. And the end of this conflict, we've already seen it. Oil per barrel down 75, 77 a barrel. What does that mean? Translating for the person, 25 million Americans working overtime. That means that the price of gas is coming under $4 a gallon. Just yesterday, we saw some signs of that kind of progress. The more progress we see like that, the more we can celebrate some parts of this deal. And think about it, this started 3 months ago, but really it was last summer when the first impacts happened as it relates to trying to decimate and destroy Iran's ability to have the infrastructure necessary for a nuclear weapon. And so 2 really positive points coming out of this. Number 1, gas prices are coming down. Number 2, we have at the very least delayed for years the development of a nuclear program in Iran. Those 2 things we could absolutely celebrate.
Okay. And once again, while we have you here as the Banking Committee Chair, was it like watching like The Godfather? I mean, were you that interested in Kevin Warsh yesterday? Were you glued to the test? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm a big Godfather 3 fan, so it was more like watching Godfather 2. It was still good, very strong, but at the end of the day, what Kevin did was, I think he did speak to the independence of the Fed. We saw that because they kept interest rates where they were, but more importantly, what we saw for the first time in a long time was a unanimous decision coming out of the Fed to keep interest rates where they were. Last vote, I think it was 8-4. That was one of the biggest divides on the Fed. Having our Fed work hand in glove is really important. Having the members talk and think through the process, really good. Couple points that I thought were really important that Kevin made, frankly, in his statements and with his actions. Number 1, follow the data. Market, follow the data. Not the Fed, but the data. Number 2, let's find a way to keep the focus on the market, on the economy. He said something that I thought was very encouraging for the average person in our country: price stability. We haven't seen that recently. We'll have more of that because Kevin Warsh is now leading the Fed. I'm excited about that part.
Great. Okay, Senator Scott, thanks. And wow, it's really going to happen next week. You'd have to take a victory lap when it doesn't. I know it's meant a lot to you with your background and your life story and everything else in terms of housing. But appreciate your time today, Senator. Thank you.
Thank you very much.